Hello, beautiful babes, and welcome to my channel. I told myself I was gonna stop doing the demon voice, but it's like funny to me. Like, it's probably not funny to anyone else, but like, that shit's funny to me. So I'm gonna keep doing it because I don't give a fuck, okay? So in today's video, we are going to be talking about how Sarah and I almost got shanked. Like, we almost got sliced and diced. Like, I'm talking Orange is the New Black, like Wentworth. No, like Orange is the New Black, like get shanked and then get buried in the greenhouse. If you know, you know. So I'm gonna like first take it back to like a story from my childhood. Like, this is where the hood came from, okay? Okay, so I was raised in El Paso, Texas from like the age of like being born till like 11, okay? And we lived in the northeast side, okay? So it was kind of I mean, there were cholos, okay? There were cholos. So I was a hood bitch, okay? Like, I was cussing, like, I thought I was cool shit, right? Okay, so let me tell you guys a story about how, like, uncool I really am. Okay, so, like, the time that I was, like, in elementary school or something, a girl had gone missing from Kmart, okay? And, like, this was, like, this huge thing in El Paso. And she ended up being found, and she had been sexually assaulted and burned with cigarette butts. Like, she was tortured, okay? So there was like this huge thing in the elementary schools where guest speakers were coming to tell us how to deal with strangers, right? So it's like this huge stranger danger thing for like a year, right? Like everyone knew the story about this girl, right? So I'm like, bitch, I don't want to be burned. Like, I don't want to be tortured. Like, they might bring me back because like I don't ever shut the fuck up. But like, I'm pretty, but I wasn't. I was ugly as fuck. But in my head, I was like, oh my God, I'm like Beyonce. They're gonna take me. Okay, so it was like, I don't even know, it was like a Saturday or something, and my sister and I were out riding our bikes, and it was this huge thing, right? It was like, stop, get away from me, you are not my parent, because they said that if you just like yell or something, like people are used to kids yelling or whatever, so they won't turn around and look for you, right? So you're gonna get murdered, okay? So my ass, I'm riding my bike, I'm riding my little pink bike in the hood, and I stop at like this little stop sign, right? And because this car was coming, and they said, oh, go ahead. My bitch ass, I thought they said get in. Bitch, I dropped my bike. My sister was behind me. I left that bitch behind. Every bitch for themselves, okay? I was like, you can be in the dumpster, not me. So I took off running, right? I'm screaming, I'm crying, I'm running towards my parents' house, right? This is how like not hood I am. I'm like, they're gonna kidnap me. And like my sister and like her friends were like behind me, and they're like laughing. They're like, what the fuck? And then like apparently the guy in the minivan like looked at my sister and was like, oh, I just said go ahead. Bitch, I was like, not today. Not today, Satan. It ain't gonna be me, okay? So this is how my hood shit started, okay? This is how much of a pussy I really am, okay? So I'm gonna start with like okay, how do I want to start this? Okay, so now I'm going to start with like the reason that you're here, right? So Sarah and I almost got stabbed. Like, this is a true story. Like, we had to go to court and everything. Like, it was like a fucking crazy shit storm, okay? So one day Sarah and I are driving, and there's this motorcyclist. I'm not gonna say his name because like we already went through court and everything, and I don't know if I'm supposed to or not. Like, we have like a protective order against him. Like, he's not supposed to like talk to us or whatever, because he ended up stalking us. Okay, this is real shit, okay? So anyways, I'm just gonna say his name was John Smith, okay? His initials were actually JS, okay? So if you like know this guy, or you would know if I said the name, because he's literally a psychopath. Okay, so we're driving in the truck, we're listening to some music, and like I look to the side and there's like a motorcyclist, and he's yelling. He's like cussing me out, and like I roll down the window and like just to listen, right? Because I'm a bitch. I was like, yes, hello. So I was like, and he was like, you fucking cut me off or whatever. And like literally, like he pulled up beside us like 30 seconds after we had pulled in, so we didn't cut him off. It turns out that this guy had done this to a lot of people, okay? So I'm like, no, we fucking didn't. Who the fuck are you? And he's like lifting up his mask. He's ugly as fuck, okay? He looks like fucking Shrek. So I'm like I'm just listening and being like, you're a fucking bitch, da 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 da. And like Sarah and I are just looking at each other like, is this real life? Like, is Ashton Kutcher about to pop up? Like, are we being punked? So he's like talking shit, right? And I was like, babe, you know the best way to piss a motherfucker off is we're just gonna start laughing, right? So like, start laughing. Fucking bad idea. Don't fucking do that if a psychopath. Like, then you're like tormenting or like bringing them down, and they have a really big ego, right? So don't laugh at them, okay? That's a bad idea. That's a bad idea. So I'm sitting there, I'm like, like, you dumb as fuck, right? And then he fucking, so we take off, right? We're at the red light turns green and we take off. And he gets behind her bumper. I'm like, not even kidding. We're getting on the interstate and he's riding her ass. So I'm like, this guy is fucking nuts, okay? So I'm like, just drive, like, whatever, just ignore him. Like, he's obviously a fucking psychopath. This bitch drives up on the shoulder of the interstate in a fucking motorcycle, okay? So this guy's a fucking idiot. So he's driving the motorcycle, right? And like, Sarah looks and she's like, babe, what the fuck? I'm like, just keep laughing. Just keep, so I'm like, that was dumb as fuck. Okay, do not do that. And I'm like looking at him, I'm like, bitch, you wanna fight? Like, right? Like, so then, like, my hose starts coming out. I'm like, bitch, you wanna catch these hands? You want to catch these hands? You want to catch me outside? So I'm like, but still I'm like, kind of like, this guy's fucking nuts, right? So like, we should just like let him, like, whatever, like maybe like his wife and like cheated on him or something, or like maybe he found out like he has 3 balls. Like, I don't know, he's having a bad day, okay? So I'm like trying to give him the benefit of the doubt. So we're driving, okay? And he gets back behind us. He's like flipping us off. He's like losing his fucking shit. I'm like, are you a fucking idiot? You are on a motorcycle. Like, does this seem like a good idea? Like, that seems like, I don't know. So we end up going to the next town over, and that's where we're going, because I had to pick up my prescription, because at the time I had a UTI, like, story of my life. But vodka does that to me, you know, it's this weird thing it does. So we pull in to, or we get into the next town, and we're pulling off on the interstate, and he's following us. And I'm like, what the fuck? This is like really weird. There's no way that he's going to the same place that we are. So we pull off, and I was like, don't turn into Walgreens. Like, I think he's following us at this point. So we stop at a stop sign. And this motherfucker, I'm not even kidding. Let me get this essential oil. We're gonna pretend like this essential oil is a knife, right? He goes and like pulls out a knife, like he flips it open and everything. And he's like yelling with this knife, right? My bitch ass is like, nah, that's not how we play it here. I'm from El Paso, okay? You wanna stab me? You wanna stab me, bitch? Right? I'm like, I've got a lot of layers of chunk, honey. You're gonna have to do a lot to get to my vital organs, okay? So I was like, all right, bitch, you wanna do me like that? So Sarah's like, babe, no, like, no, baby. Like, she's really trying to calm me down. I'm like, listen, like, as soon as I saw the knife, I was like, oh fuck no, right? I was like, it's about to go down. So I was like, pull into the next parking lot. It was like a bank or something. I was like, pull into the next parking lot. She's like, babe, no. I was like, pull into the next parking lot. Like, my fucking dumbass. I'm a fucking dumbass, right? Like, and so I'm like, pull up. And so he pulls up beside me. I was like, bitch, you got a fucking problem? Like, I get ghetto real quick, right? I was like, bitch, you got a fucking problem? And he's like, you fucking cut me off, bitch. And I was like, bitch, what are you gonna do with that knife? What are you gonna fucking do with that knife, you little pussy ass bitch? And I was like, okay, follow us to the police station, right? So it goes from like hood to like, okay, he actually has a knife, so like maybe we should go to the police station. Like, he's fucking nuts, right? I'm like, follow us to the police station, bitch, if you want to be bad, right? And he's like, he's just like fucking mouthing off. I couldn't even understand what he was saying, because like he literally, I think like something happened to his face, like nothing like serious, like nothing actually happened to his face. He's just ugly. So I'm like, okay, like babe, get to the police station, like let's go. Like, this isn't cool, right? Like, he's actually fucking nuts. So she drives to the police station. And then he fucking turns off somewhere, right? He doesn't want to go. And she's like, babe, do you want to go in? I was like, no, it was probably like nothing. Like, he got all of his rage out, right? I just thought it was like a road rage thing. So we go to Walgreens and we go pick up my prescription. And then we go to McDonald's, because you know a bitch needs to eat. And I ended up calling Van Buren Police Department. And I was like, hey, which is the town that we were in. And I was like, hey, I just want to let y'all know, like, this guy, like, he pulled a knife on us. And like, I gave them the description of the bike, which I talk really fast. Which he didn't have tags on, okay? So I think that what he was doing, he was leaving the house looking for a fight, so it didn't have tags on it. So I tell them, it was like, I don't even remember what the fuck, I think it was just a black bike. And I was like, he had, like, I explained the knife, I was like, he has a knife, like, he was driving behind us, like, he might do this to somebody else, and he might actually hurt them, right? And they're like, okay, so we actually ended up, like, making a complaint. It wasn't, like, a formal report. And it's really good that we did this, so that it was on record. Okay, so we go to McDonald's. My bitch ass gets like a Big Mac or something, you know. I don't know. I need a lot of calories, okay? And we leave. And we're actually leaving to go visit Sarah's grandpa in Oklahoma, okay? So it's a 2-hour drive. And so we're leaving not thinking anything of it, right? We think this is all over with. At this point, we had been driving for about an hour, okay? So we were an hour away from like where the initial event happened, okay? And we pull into a gas station. And my bitch ass, okay, there was a dog. This is a true story, okay? There was a little boxer puppy, right? Like, what does my bitch ass do? Like, my dumb bitch ass, I'm like gonna go pet the dog, right? Not thinking that I might be being followed, right? So I'm over here playing with the dog, you know, and like this old man, he had his like grandson, these little cute grandsons. So I was like playing with the dog, and I was like, oh, you know, my parents have boxers, blah blah blah. I'm just making conversation with these people. And I turn around, and there's a car pulled up by Sarah's truck, and I can hear them talking. And I was like, that's weird. My bitch ass turns around, I'm still petting the dog, right? Good thing he didn't have a gun, because Sarah would be dead. But I was like, oh my god, this is such a cute dog. Like, what the fuck is wrong with me? Like, I'm like literally like fucking oblivious, right? Like, you think I'm hood, and then I'm over here and I see a dog, and then I'm gonna get killed, right? Like, if I'm being followed by a stalker and then there's like a fucking stray dog, and I'm gonna go pick up that stray dog, and then I'm gonna get murdered, okay? That's how it's gonna end for me. So I'm like, okay. And then I hear Sarah like kind of yell or something, and I'm like, what the fuck's going on? And she's like, babe, stay over there, or something. Like, she's like, babe, stay over there. Like, she was worried, and I was like, I don't know. So I'm like thinking, I'm like, okay, like I'm like another motherfucking crazy person, right? Like, because they're in a car at this point. And I'm like, what the fuck? So I walk over there, and it's him. Bitch, he had followed us for an hour. And not even that, he did a lot more, which I'm going to tell you guys when we actually find out in court what he admitted to doing. This is creepy as fuck. Okay. So I see him, and this was me. I was like, oh, motherfucking bitch, no. And like, Sarah was like, babe, don't walk up to the car. We don't know if he has a knife. I'm like, bitch, I got fucking knives right here, right? I'm like, come on then. So I go up to the car. I'm like, bitch, you got a fucking problem? I'm like, why the fuck did you follow us, you fucking psycho bitch? Like, right? I'm like, whoo. And he was like, this bitch is fucking crazy. And he's fucking dumb enough to have the fucking license plate on his fucking car. And we're at a gas station with cameras, okay? Like, he's a fucking idiot. Like, his rage is literally so bad. And like, I can see all of his tattoos, so I know, like, I knew how to describe him like to a T, right? So I'm like, bitch, get out of the fucking car. And Sarah's like, babe, no. And so she's like trying to get in between us, and I'm like, you got a problem, bitch? Get out of the fucking car. And he's like, I'm gonna whoop your fucking ass. Like, talking to me and talking to Sarah. I'm like, bitch, get the fuck out of the car. Get the fuck out of the car. You got a knife? You got a knife? Well, I got a gun. But I didn't have a gun, right? And I didn't actually say that, right? But I was like, bitch, get out of the car, right? Because like, when someone comes, like, they're following you, and like, you automatically go into like fight mode. You either go into fight mode or flight mode, and my bitch ass doesn't run. So like, I don't say that like doesn't run from like trouble. I mean like doesn't run because cardio hurts me, okay? So I'm like, bitch, get out the fucking car. Let's do this. Let's do this right here. You want to do this right here? Like, meanwhile, this fucking grandpa's over here at this fucking, so he was like a witness, but he was like over there like at the other fucking pump or whatever. And so he's like listening to me. Like, I went from like, oh, puppy, and then I was like, bitch, get out the motherfucking car then, right? And he was like, I'm gonna beat y'all's fucking ass. I'm gonna get out the fucking car. And he literally would not get out of the car. And then I see him, and he has, like, he's sitting right here, and then he has his hand, like, between, like, kind of where your emergency brake is if you have a car. And he's not showing me his hand. So I'm thinking, this motherfucker has a gun. He did. Okay, but that's not the point, right? He didn't use it, whatever. So he had a gun, and I said, bitch. Like, so I'm like, I can't see his hand, and I'm like, what the fuck? Like, I was like, what's in your fucking hand, right? And, like, then he starts acting sketchy. I'm like, this bitch about to shoot me. I can't outrun a bullet. I can't even outrun a turtle. Okay, so I'm like, okay, this is sketchy as fuck. And I was like, dude, we already called the fucking cops on you, dude. Like at this point, like, it didn't go from like me being a hood bitch. It went from me being like, okay, I have to protect Sarah and I have to protect myself. So I'm like, you got a fucking gun? Like, what the fuck, right? And I was like, dude, we already called the fucking cops on you, and you're a fucking idiot. Like, this is literally what I told him. I was like, you're a fucking idiot because I already have your fucking license plate memorized. Like, so good fucking job. And then, okay, this is like the best part, right? So he takes off. He drives off, and then he slams on his brake, because I'm still yelling, right? Because at this point, I'm like, oh, motherfucking hell no. Because he's talking shit. He's calling me a bitch. He's calling me a whore. Like literally, I was, like, in sweatpants. So, like, I didn't even look like beat the house, right? So he, like, drives off, and then I'm still talking shit, right? I'm a fucking idiot, right? I'm still talking shit. So he slams on his brakes. I fucking run over there to the car the first time I ever ran in my life, right? And I'm like, bitch, da-da-da-da-da. I'm, like, fucking, like, at this point, like, it went from, like, protection mode to, like, anger, because this person actually followed us this far. Like, so there's something wrong with him. So then I thought it was a good idea to make him even more mad. So I like ran up there and I was like, you're a fucking bitch. Like, I was like, and so I'm like cussing him out, right? Sarah's holding me back, right? She's like, babe, get the fuck in the truck. We're fucking leaving. So I'm like, nah, he wanna play? Like, this is me. Like, I'm a dumb bitch. Like, if he had a gun, like, I'd be dead. Like, and he was like buff. So I don't know who the fuck I thought it was. But anyways, so, and then I told him, I said, you know what? My dad's a sheriff. Yeah. And he fucking sped off. My dad is not a sheriff. He's not a sheriff, right? Like, that was like the first thing that came to my mind. I was like, my dad's a sheriff, bitch. Like that's so fucking hard. Like, my dad's a motherfucking sheriff. And so he sped off, right? So, like, I wrote down his license plate, and, like, meanwhile, like, the grandpa's, like, getting the dog in the car, getting the kid in the car. He's like, these crazy ass motherfuckers. And then he, like, came over to me. He's like, are you guys okay? And I was like, yeah, this guy had followed us, da-da-da-da-da. And then so I called the cops, and I was like, hey, I think you guys might want to come down here. He ended up, like, not leaving. He parked in a parking lot far away, which we didn't know this until the court date. So he didn't actually end up leaving. He actually stayed in a parking lot across the street where we couldn't see him. And I didn't know this until the fucking court date, okay? So I called the cops. I was like, hey, I think you guys might want to come down here. Like, this guy pulled a knife on us, and then I think he might have had a gun, right? And so the cops get there, and so at this point, they had coordinated with the Van Buren Police Department because I had told them that we had already written a report. And he said, this guy followed you. So what he had done was he went home because he lived in Van Buren, switched to a car, and followed us all the way there. And like when I think back about it, like, we were driving on the interstate, and there was a car like flashing their lights at us, and I thought that was weird, like, because like we were like speeding, you know what I'm saying? So I'm like, why is there a car flashing out? Like, and so he was like tormenting us, but we had no fucking idea. Like, I'm a dumb bitch. Like, I didn't even know that someone was following us. And apparently, like, but he was trying to not be caught. That's how he said it in court. Like, what the fuck? Oh my God. Okay, so then, so we write the police report and everything, and like, the witnesses were there. There was a few witnesses that were like, yeah, like, he was probably gonna kill them. But then, I mean, my dad's a sheriff part saved my life, right? But so then we ended up leaving. I had to burp. So then after this, like, the cops write the report and everything. Like, we tell them everything that happened in Van Buren and then an hour away. Okay, so we had found out that he had actually followed us. And so we were telling him all of this. And then so we end up writing the police report. And he's like, okay, we sign it. At this point, I'm on the phone with my dad because my dad is a retired detective, but he's not retired, right? So he's like, do this, do this, do this, right? Like, you need a gun. Like, I'm like, no. And like, Sarah actually had a gun in her truck. So this is actually funny. Like, but like, the thing about it is like, I'm not sure it would have been a justified shooting because, like, I didn't see his gun. I only saw his knife on the bike, and it's not like I'm gonna fucking pull a gun out and shoot somebody on a bike. Like, if they have a knife or something, right? Like, right, it would take a lot for me to shoot somebody because, one, I don't really know how to shoot a gun. I mean, I pretty much do, but, like, also, I don't know, it would take a lot for me to shoot somebody, right? Because, I mean, if you shoot somebody, like, and you know what you're doing, you're probably going to kill them. And then you're going to have to live, like, the rest of your life with that, right? And I did not want to kill this guy. I didn't even know who the fuck this guy was. But obviously he wanted to kill me, right? I have an effect. And so we ended up leaving. And we ended up driving to Tulsa, which was our, like, original destination, was to Sarah's grandpa's house. We were, like, 2 hours late. We ended up getting there at, like, 11 or midnight or something like that. And we tell him what happened, da-da-da-da-da. And, you know, her grandpa, like, he's, like, my grandpa. And he's, like, you know, he's like a country boy, so he's got a lot of guns, right? So I felt safe. I was like, okay, like, if he's gonna come back, you know, like, we're good. But he ended up actually driving to Tulsa. This is fucking nuts. This is fucking nuts. Like, I can't not believe this. So, and I kind of like Sarah and I kind of pretty much knew, like, because they didn't catch him that night, so we kind of knew that he was, like, probably following us. And that is, like, the creepiest feeling in the world, is, like, you think somebody's watching you and you feel like somebody's following you and, like, you no longer feel safe, right? Like, it's just a really creepy fucking feeling. And so a few months go by and we get a call from the prosecuting attorney in Crawford County. And they're like, hey, we're going to press charge, or do you want to press charges or something like that? Something of that nature. She's like, I do want to let you know that there has been, like, 3 previous charges against him for road rage and, like, pulling a knife, like something like that, like some kind of weapon. But the people were too scared to press charges. I was like, why? Is he in the fucking mafia? Like, he's just a fucking redneck, right? I said, hell yeah, I want to press charges, like that fucking crazy ass bitch, right? And, like, I wasn't sure, like, how it was gonna go until we actually got there. Let me tell you what my bitch ass did, okay? So we end up getting a court date, and we're, like, told, you know, if we didn't show up, he wouldn't have been charged, right? So I'm like, I'm gonna fucking show up. And so we get there. What does my bitch ass have in my purse? So I run through the x-ray machine, and the fucking security guard was like, ma'am? And I was like, yeah. And he's like, you have a knife in your purse. I was like, that's ironic, like, right? Like, I'm, like, trying to play it off. And he's like, just take it out of your car, like, it's fine, right? I'm like, bitch, I brought a knife into a courthouse, right? And this is the same courthouse in our area that had a shooting, right? But I brought it. I brought a fucking knife. Like, I'm a fucking idiot. So, like, I just went out to the car and, like, I threw my whole person out because I'm like, I don't know what weapons I have. Like, you know, I'm hood, so I didn't know what else I had. Like, I probably had, like, an ice pick or something, right? So I just throw my purse in the car, and then we go into the courtroom, and the prosecuting attorney comes up to me, and she's like, hey, his attorney wants to make a deal, so, like, instead of, he got charged with terroristic threatening, harassment, and I think that was it. I'm not sure. But she was like, his defense attorney wants to, and it turns out he was in the military. Like, we found out this at the court date. She's like, wants to take it down from terroristic threatening, something, I'm not even sure if it was, like, harassment, but, like, to, like, some kind of, like vehicular, I don't know, it was something weird, and I don't remember exactly what it was, but I was like, why? So he can stay in the military? Like, because, and I want to say there might have been one more charge, I'm not actually exactly sure, but she was like, well, if we don't make a plea deal, then we actually have to go through a trial, and you have to go on the stand and talk. And I was like, ooh, I don't really want to do that. And but I was like, so he could stay in the military, like right, which he wasn't in the army, he wasn't active, he was like the National Guard, which is still part of the military, but you know, he wasn't like a Marine, like he wasn't like a combat, okay, like, not, no offense, but like, he wasn't. And I was like, no, I was like, yeah, we'll go to trial, because I don't want him in the fucking, you really think we should give him a semi-automatic or an automatic weapon? I don't know what the fuck, I've never fucking been to combat, right? I'm like, you really think that's a good idea? Right? Like, you think that's a good idea? And I said, hell no. And then this lady comes up to me who was at the courthouse, and she was there for like a speeding ticket or something, and she was like, hey, is that John Smith? And I was like, yeah, like, what's up? And she said, we know him because he comes to our neighborhood and tries to run over the kids. Like, he's literally a fucking psycho. And I was like, what? And she was like, he tries to run over the kids in our neighborhood, like, we've called the cops on him or whatever, but he didn't have his tags on his vehicle. And she's like, but I know who he is or whatever through this and this and that, because he comes and runs over the kids, like. And I was like, what? Like, not runs over the kids, tries to run over the kids, and like torments the kids. And like, at that point I was like, that's it. If you're fucking with kids, bitch, you're a pussy, okay? Like, you're a fucking pussy ass bitch if you go after kids. So I was like, oh hell no, we finna go to trial, okay? And so we had to wait until last, because all the other ones were like speeding tickets or whatever. And so we had to wait in like the fucking 2 hours for everyone to go through. And so we were gonna be last because we're gonna do a trial. Funny story is, it was the judge that, if you guys have watched my Why I Went to Jail video, it was the same judge, right? I'm not sure if he recognized me or not. I'm like, I don't know. But so they were like, so Sarah had to go first, and she had to tell her side of the story. So they were trying to like make sure that we had our story straight, like we weren't lying. So Sarah had to go first, and then I had to wait outside. I couldn't be in there while she was giving her testimony, I guess that would be. And then I went next. Okay, and Sarah's mom's in there, right? I said, this motherfucker's trying to run over kids. I'm gonna give an Oscar-winning performance. This is me, bitch. I like walk up there and I'm like, bitch, he's staring at me. And like, every time that Sarah and I would talk, or like they would say, he would clench his jaws. Like, he was fucking nuts. But I'm like, bitch, no, you ain't fucking with no kids, bitch. Okay, so like, I get up there and I'm like, and he's like looking at me. He's like looks like a crazy fuck. And I'm like, I'm not a hood bitch. I didn't go up to your car. But, which I did. I told him that I did. Like, I'm not gonna fucking lie on the stand, you know what I'm saying? So I'm like sitting there, and like everything that I said was like completely true. I just might have made it more, I conveyed it the best way I knew how to, right? And so the prosecuting attorney came up and was like, tell us a little bit about what happened. And she was like, so he followed you, like, how did that make you feel? And I was like, honestly, like now I feel like I have to carry a weapon, like I just I can't feel safe anymore, you know what I'm saying? And like he's like, I'm gonna kill that fucking bitch, like that's what he's thinking in his head. But I'm like, right, like I'm like, you ain't finna fuck with me, right? Okay, so I'm like, oh my god. And like I can just see Sarah's mom, like she was like in the stands, right, or whatever they're fucking called, and she's like, and I'm like, yes. And so like, it was all true. Like, I did get scared. Like, was I crying during when it happened? Fuck no. But on the stand, I'm like, this motherfucker needs to be put away, okay? So I'm like, right? And then like the judge was like, I'm so sorry you had to go through this. Like, he's like a big sweetheart, right? And I was like, thank you, right? I'm like, thank you so much. And then his fucking attorney comes up, and I'm like, and he's like, so tell me, Mrs. Holland, or Miss Holland. And I was like, yeah, bitch. But I was like, yes. And he was like, what are the odds with a motorcycle against a truck? I said, not very good. So that's why I was very worried about his mental state, right? I'm up there, I'm like, right? And he's like sitting there. I think he wanted to kill me like more than once, like, but like he already tried, you know what I'm saying? So then he's like, I just see him like literally, I'm like, he's gonna fucking shoot me. Like, if you, like, you know what I'm saying? Those people that you see and you just know they're fucking nuts. He has that fucking look. Like, you know, they have like the cuckoo eyes, or they're like this all the time. right? Like, he was that bitch. Okay, so I was like, not today, Satan. And I'm like, and it was so annoying because it was like, I know that, like, it kind of helped our case because, like, the judge was, like, looking at him. The judge called him crazy. I was like, yes. Okay, so it gets to the point where he's on the stand or whatever. And the judge straight up said, he was like, so tell me what happened, da, 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 da. And he was like, well, the reason, so he tried to lie the first time. He was like, well, the reason that I was heading to Tulsa was because my wife had left her credit card at a hotel. The judge was like, yeah, what hotel? And, like, he got tripped up. And then the judge was like, you're fucking lying under oath, bitch. Like, we can, like, whatever, right? So he, like, intimidated him. And he was like, well, what happened was, they had really upset me. So John Smith was like, well, what happened is like, they really upset me, they cut me off, like, they were trying to kill me in the truck, like, that's what he fucking said, right? So he's like, they were trying to fucking kill me, but he didn't say fucking, because he's, like, on the stand, but he was like, they were trying to kill me, and they were gonna run me over, and, like, all this shit, right? And then, like, he was like, okay, but you were behind them? And he was like, yes. And he was like, you followed them? He's like, yes. How are they gonna run over you? Like, so, like, the judge was like, just like, you're fucking nuts, right? And so the judge was like, so what happened in Weber's Falls? And he said, well, what happened was I went home and I changed from my motorcycle to my car. And so, like, this like showed that he was, like, premeditating to like follow us, like, he's nuts, right? And he was like, and then I followed them to the gas station and I sat in the parking lot and I watched me, because I'm the only one out of the car, right? Like, Sarah's, like, pumping gas and he's like, I watched her, like, go over to somebody else's pump, blah, blah, blah. And, like, we were there for a little bit, right? Because I was playing with the dog. And he was like, so I sat there for about 10 minutes and watched them. I'm like, bitch, was it my good side at least? Like, you fucking nut. I'm like, he watched us, and, like, the judge was like, quite frankly, I think that's crazy. Like, you're crazy. Like, the judge was like, he ain't playing, right? Like, he's probably got a granddaughter, okay? So he was like, you're crazy. Like, why would you think that was okay to do that? And he was like, well, I was just pissed. They were trying to kill me. Like, that's what he was thinking in his head, okay? And I'm like, bitch, what the fuck? And so that happens. Like, he gives his testimony and pretty much says that he followed us, and then he ended up driving to Tulsa, where we had went coincidentally, and he admitted that he had driven to Tulsa. And so they were like, well, did you follow them? No, I was getting the credit card, which he's still kind of at the end stuck to that when he asked him that. And he was found guilty on all charges, bitch. Like, I was like, he should not be in the fucking military. He should not have a fucking gun. Like, he's a fucking nut. But I don't think any of the charges, I think one of the charges was a felony, because I don't remember exactly what everything was. But one of them, like, made it to where he couldn't, like, he would have to face the military to see if he could even be in the military anymore, which he probably wouldn't be able to. And so that was the whole point of the trial. And especially when I found out that he's, like, trying to run over kids, I was like, no, he should not be in the military, number fucking one. He's a fucking nut. And so what ended up happening is, like, I think that he had to serve jail time. I'm not for sure exactly, because that was so fucking long. So what ended up happening was, I think he ended up getting, like, 30 days in jail, and something, like, I know he ended up getting, like, 2 years of probation. And then he ended up getting mandatory anger management classes. When I'm like, that's not going to help him. Like, the only thing that will help him is, like, Valium or a straitjacket, right? So I'm like, you just give him both. And I was like, okay, whatever. Like, I know that, like, it was his first offense, technically, that he had been charged, right? Because the other people ended up showing up to court, or even ended up pressing charges because they were scared. Even though this wasn't the first time that he had done that. Like, I'm pretty sure he's probably in jail by now. Like, for good. He's probably in prison. I don't know, but we ended up leaving, and we got a protective order, and he got mandatory anger management classes, and then he had to write us an apology letter, which he never wrote his apology letter, so I'm sure that sent him back to jail. And I don't think that he ever paid his fines. Like, he was literally a nut. And it turns out that he was fucking married, because I stalked his Facebook. I'm gonna be honest, I stalked his Facebook. He's fucking married. I'm like, bitch, what the fuck? His wife was not there. I'm like, and she was, like, a weird looking bitch. Like, I don't ever, like, want to insult somebody, but she was like, you know, can I speak to the manager? Haircut? Like, well, one of those. So I'm like, but then I, like, look back and I'm like, oh my God, like, he's probably abusive towards her. So then I was, like, feeling bad for her. But, like, she had to know that this was going on, right? Like, she had to know that he went to court. So I'm like, either she's, like, enabling him or totally fine with him, or she's in a relationship with him that she can't get out of because it's abusive. And so then I'm like, fuck, I feel really bad for her, but there's nothing I can do because there's a no contact order. He can't contact us, and we can't contact him. So a year goes by or so, right? Bitch, where do we see him? Where else do you fucking see everyone that you don't want to fucking see? Walmart! Bitch, I'm like talking. what ended up happening is we ran into our friend and her aunt. Bitch, I was like, da 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 da, like talking because I don't ever shut the fuck up. And Sarah was like, nudges me, and she's like, there's John Smith. And I look, and he's like this. And I was like, bitch, he's crazy. And so he didn't say shit because he would obviously go to jail, which I'm pretty sure. Like, he was in, like, manual labor clothes. And this was, like, 1 in the morning. We were at Walmart, like, 1 in the morning. So he was like, I don't think he's in the military anymore. I don't fucking know. Honestly, I hope he got the help that he needed. I don't know exactly what was wrong with him. And if he hurts anybody else, like, at least I tried to stop this person. And honestly, I think he really is going to end up in prison for the rest of his life if he doesn't get the help that he needs. And if he is mentally ill, then I feel bad for him. Like if he is really sick, if he was having like a psychotic break or something like that, then I feel bad for him. Then obviously our system failed him. Because when you join the military or when you do all these things, like you should, I don't know if you have psychological testing, but I feel like you should. And it should be thorough. So our system failed him and our healthcare system didn't do what they needed to do for him. And therefore that put other people in danger. Bitch, that's a whole nother story about why our healthcare system is failing the mentally ill. Okay, but thank you so much for watching this video, guys. I hope that none of you guys have to go through this. I mean, and if you do, shank them. Don't do that. I shouldn't say that. But like, if you do, run them over. Anyways, and tomorrow I'm just letting you guys know I'm going to be posting a video about reviewing and demoing the new Jeffree Star X Morphe palette. Yes, I'm getting it in the mail tomorrow, so that is when I'm going to review it. Other than that, make sure you guys like and subscribe and comment down below if you guys have any video ideas for me.